Hello, Incredible One. Darnyelle A. Jervey here. Excited to be back with you for video number 3 in the impromptu video training series, all about how to tighten your sales game. Okay, so 2 videos down. In this 3rd video, we're going to talk specifically about the number 1 problem with why your sales game isn't tight. And this problem has been affecting you for years, so many years. This problem is the reason why you charge peanuts for your offerings. And here's the thing, I don't care what you charge, you're not charging enough, because you're charging for your time or for everything you put together in a package. If you learn how to package your pricing, your offerings, but you're not charging for the value, for the return on investment that you yield for those that you serve. So I know you're not charging enough because of that. This problem is the culprit. It's the reason why all of these things are happening to you and why you continue to struggle around sales, and which means you ultimately struggle with growing your business. I'm talking about your relationship with money. Now, what I'm not going to talk to you about are some of the exercises that are out there that coaches will have you do to have you shift your relationship with money. And listen, no shade, I've used those exercises with my clients as well too. But I actually want to take a different approach to helping you to resolve your relationship with money. And the assignment that I'm going to give you following this video is really going to help with that. Here's the thing. Every single one of us has a money backstory. I don't care if you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth or, you were born in the projects like me. Regardless of where you were born and whom your parents are, you saw specific things growing up that have flowered your relationship with money. What you saw your family do and how they responded to money has either helped you or it has hindered you. And I'm hoping that through having you go through the assignment that I'm going to share with you as a result of this video, that will begin to change. Now, listen, I'm not here to dupe you, hoodwink you, or bamboozle you into believing that I can snap my fingers like that and just like that your relationship with money will be resolved. It's not that kind of party. I'm going to always keep it real with you. That's how I do. And I'm going to be honest, even at my level, for as long as I've been in business, having made as much as I've made in my business, I sometimes struggle with what it costs and what it should cost because of my relationship with money. That backstory is still there. It doesn't stop me from getting it right, but it does at least allow me to pause and really think it through and make sure that I'm not allowing that backstory to affect me. So I'm going to tell you my backstory in an effort to hope that it helps you in determining your very own backstory. So you may have heard parts of my story before, but the quick and dirty, to keep it real simple, is this. I was born in the projects. Both of my parents were drug addicts. We were fortunate enough to move right outside of the projects. And when I say right outside of the projects, I mean like across the park from the projects when I was very young. But what I observed was struggle. Initially from my mother and father got divorced around the time I was 2. And initially the struggle was my mom. She did whatever she had to do to keep food on the table. I'm keeping it real with you, like whatever. But money was always a monkey on her back. Like there was never a time when we just flowed with it, where it was just fun and warm and fuzzy. It was always related to struggle. And even when she got a nice little chunk of change, that chunk of change was gone just like that because of her mindset around money and what she observed in her household as a child. Fast forward, so you probably know that, when I was 8, my mom went to jail during my birthday party. We went to live with my father, so I ended up being reared from 8 until graduating from high school and going to college by my father. And that brought on a whole nother set of challenges with money from observing his relationship with money. Now, my father was cheap. My father would take a penny, and from that penny, 25 cents would pop out. And I heard one of my girlfriends say before, he could turn $1 and make it holler. Like, he was serious about money. And every day, I kid you not, I'm not exaggerating, every single day as I can recollect and growing up, I heard him say, money does not grow on a tree out back. You got to work hard for money. So here I am, I'm growing up, I'm going to college, I get my first opportunity to have some real money. Oh, you know what? Let me back up for a second. So, because this is important to the whole money backstory. So when I was 13, I started working. You could get working papers back then. My first job was McDonald's. You guessed it. I wore the little high Sally pants and served the people at McDonald's. I did what I had to do because it afforded me money. Now, my dad, I think he thought he was doing something great for me. He had me put half of every single check in the bank. So by the time I turned 16 and was now driving age, I had a nice little piece of change. I had about $7,500 in the bank. And I was also a cheerleader. So every day, usually, I was the last one home because I had practice right after school. But one particular day, for whatever reason, I didn't have practice. And I got home and I got the mail. And I opened up my bank statement. And what should have been over $7,500, looking back at me, was like $73 and some cents because my father stole my money. And when I confronted my father about taking this money that I had worked hard for, that he made me save, rather than enjoying it like I would have wanted to as a teenager, he said to me, you had to pay the cost to live here. You always had food on the table, clothes on your back. What are you complaining for? So what do you think? What do you think that money backstory from my mom, who hustled and did whatever she had to do, but constantly was presented with struggle, to my dad talking about money doesn't grow on a tree out back, and then when I finally get some money, he takes it from me. I'm jacked up. Can you see what's wrong with me? Can you see, if you know me and if you happen to be one of my clients and have worked with me, you know why today I put such emphasis on the numbers and the importance of the numbers and what all of this stuff means. So my money backstory jacked me up for a very long time. And like many of you, when I first started my business and came into this space, I undercharged. I undercharged because I didn't feel confident enough. I was afraid of being rejected. I didn't believe that people would pay me that, because why would people pay me to do something that I loved? It just didn't make sense. So this money backstory, it flowered everything. I mean, it got really, really bad in the early days of my business. So bad, in fact, I lost almost everything. I ended up having to file bankruptcy. It was bad. Are you getting the importance of your money backstory? And I don't have no idea what your money backstory is, but that was my money backstory. Why am I telling you this? Because your money backstory is extremely important. Today, I am on the other side. I mean, my money backstory is still my money backstory. I can recount the story. I have to pause and think it through, but I've learned effective strategies to not allow my relationship with money, the old relationship that I had with money, which honestly wasn't my relationship with money, is more like my dad and my mom's relationship with money. But I've learned how to allow none of that to inhibit me from creating my own relationship with money. And I've come to the realization that, you know, first of all, money was created by God, the creator of this abundant universe, as legal tender for us to get access to what we want and what we need and what we desire, right? So money is good. And I also realized that for the problems that I solve, if I can articulate them well enough, people will give me some of that good stuff to solve their problems. So I've constantly, and I'm constantly evolving around dealing with my relationship with money. And I know the same will be true for you. But here's the thing. Your relationship with money is completely congruent to your ability to sell. Completely. Like, they are one and the same, and they will either, again, your relationship will either help you or it will harm you. But it's all congruent. It is the same. So Darnyelle, how do I resolve this issue so that I can get out of my own way and make the money that I've been craving making in my business, right? So there are a lot of things that need to happen in order for you to shift your relationship with money and to shift the way you look at money and how you allow money to exist in your life experience. There are many things you need to do. And like I said, I'm not here to share any of the warm and fuzzies that other people will have you go through, helping you to figure out your money personality. Not that any of those things are wrong, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about the direct correlation to your relationship with money and the importance thereof and your ability to be effective in sales. So if you have a jacked up relationship with money, most of y'all do, that's why you have a jacked up sales process. And that's why you can't sell. That's why you're afraid of being rejected and why you don't charge what you know you need to charge. And you know who you are because you you have an idea of what the price point should be or what you're going to tell them, or maybe you've even set your prices and they might even be pie in the sky prices to you right now because you've never charged them. But wouldn't it be great if somebody would buy this, right? And then you get on the phone with a prospect, and instead of telling them the price that you know it's going to cost for you to do this work and to perform it in excellence, you give them some much lower price because you'd rather take something than having nothing, right? You settle. So when your relationship with money is jacked up, you will settle in the sales process. You will not charge what you know you need to charge in order to do the work in excellence and get an amazing testimonial result and success story or case study from your client. You will settle and you will take whatever you want. So here's what we need to do. We've got to allow you to become aware. So there's a 3-part process of how this thing works. The first phase is awareness, right? So you have to become aware that there's a problem with your relationship with money. Once you become aware that there's a problem with your relationship with money, then you have to acknowledge, yo, I'm jacked up. I have a terrible relationship with money and it's flowering all the decisions that I make in my business, right? It's possible that the 5 to 7-year-old version of yourself who watched your mom or your dad struggle with money is the one running your company today. It's quite possible that. So you've got to become aware, you've got to acknowledge, and then you've got to take action and move in a different direction to get a different result. So here's one of the things that I want to help you to do in order to become aware, to acknowledge, and ultimately put yourself into the action that you want to have within the parameters of your business, okay? So I want you to get a sheet of paper. It's my favorite exercise that I have my clients do, and I'm giving it to you as a gift, as a part of this impromptu series. I want you to get a sheet of paper, and down the first column, I don't know how many columns you're going to need to write because it's going to depend on how old you are, right? But in increments of 7. So down the first column, 1 through 7, the second column, 8 through 14, the third column, 15 through 21, and so forth and so on based on your age. And then I want you to think specifically in the first 7 years of your life. If you can recall a memory that is directly related to money, I want you to write it down, positive or negative. I want you to write it down, okay? Once you have the first 7 years done, I then want you to go through the rest of your life, and every time you see a replication of one of those first through 7 year memories showing up in your life, I want you to write it down. Because here's the thing, until you A, become aware that there is a problem, there is a jaded relationship that you have with money, and then B, acknowledge that the buck stops here, pun intended, and now you're going to change things and then decide to make a different action, you will continue to forever have a problem with money. I did this exercise myself, and that was the beginning of me getting out of my own way. It was what took me from bankruptcy to the business that I run today. And I don't know where I would be. I mean, today I have what I like to call because I can money, right? I run a very profitable business. We are, double-digit profit every single quarter that we've been in business in my business. $1 million in sales 2 years in a row. Why am I sharing you with this? Not to brag, just to be as a frame of reference for you that once you become aware, you acknowledge, and then you start to take different actions around your relationship with money, the sky is the limit and the abundant universe really opens up to you. And I really want to have this to happen for you because the importance of your relationship with money, again, it's a direct correlation to your ability to be effective in sales. So you want to make sure that you go onto the blog and check out the assignment that accompanies this video number 3. I want you to share a comment with me. If something that has been said during this video really hits a nerve for you, share with me what that is for you. As a reminder, these videos, this impromptu video series, you don't need to opt in. There is no formal launch. I just wanted to shed some light and share some insight into just many of the topics that I'm going to be sharing at my upcoming Sell the Incredible 2-day business intensive that's happening in November. And I just want to help you to understand that even in this moment today, you can begin to tighten your sales game. And doing so now is going to position you for the profitability that you so desperately want to enjoy. My name is Darnyelle Jervey, and I hope you grow your business if you let me. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.